So today we are talking health, specifically how the wellness of your dog can be impacted by not your vet, not your chiropractor, not your physio. It can be impacted by you, and that's through two routes, from the outside in and the inside out. So with that, let's head to the teaching. So wellness or health is one of those things where we feel like as dog owners it's out of our control. And you know what? I'm a vet, and yet I can sometimes still feel a little bit like I'm out of control with my dog's well-being and just general wellness. But the fact is that actually there's a lot that we can do. And what happens is we go through life and people try and disempower us. They say, oh, you know, there's nothing that you can do for that. Oh, your dog's untrainable. Oh, this is unsalvageable, right? Oh, this is just, you know, genetics. It's just down to chance. There's nothing that you can do. But it is not the case. What we need is a way of bringing all of the research and evidence and understanding about how dogs work and how we as owners work to do something about it. And to do that, we need to think about this analogy. It's an analogy that you might have heard us talk about before, and that is that every dog has a bucket. They go around through life with this bucket in tow. And the thing is, this bucket gets filled. It gets filled by positive stress. So, you know, for example, you take them to the park and you're throwing that tennis ball, you got some kind of ball launcher going on, and your dog's excited, yeah? For example, the grandchildren come to visit and it's exciting. It's bucket filling. Even though it's positive, it fills our dog's buckets. The next area is negative stress, right? So you can think about anxiety, fear, frustration. Those of you who have dogs who are maybe reactive to other dogs, you go on a walk, they bark and lunge at one dog. That's a pint of water into the bucket. Maybe you walk a little bit further and they hear a loud noise that startles them. Another pint of water into the bucket. And then you go around the corner and they're startled by a lady or a man pushing a pram, stroller, pushchair, whatever you call it, and it's novel, it's weird, there is a screaming baby in there, and they freak out, they're barking and lunging, their bucket has overflowed at this point, and you say to yourself as a dog owner, well, he's never done this before. He won't kill your baby, right? The key is that actually all of that event came about because of all the things that came before it, yeah? The throwing the tennis ball, the seeing the other dog and then reacting to that, then being startled by the noise. That's what caused the majority of the bucket fill, and then just a mild little surprise caused it to overflow. And at the end of that lead, you see something you do not recognize. Now, the thing is that actually they're not the only things that fill the bucket. Because your dog's physiology can also fill the bucket. Your dog's wellness and health can also fill that bucket. And the first thing that fills the bucket outside of behaviour is pain. If your dog's sore because, I don't know, they've got a sore abdomen because they've got a urine infection, and maybe they've got a sore hip because they have a bit of like hip arthritis, they've got a sore elbow because they've got elbow arthritis, maybe they've got a muscle injury because they overdid it in the park, that's going to fill their bucket and bring them closer to threshold. The next area of your dog's just general physiology and wellness that's going to pay into this bucket is itchiness. So those of you with dogs with allergies, maybe it's a seasonal allergy, they're a bit more itchy in the summer. If you've ever had, if your dog's ever had fleas, you'll know how itchy and upset they get about that, and that fills the bucket. So what you might find with your dogs with seasonal allergies is that at certain times of year, in line with their itchiness, they can be more reactive to the world. They can be generally more barky. What we always think is that, you know, as the bucket fills, the barking increases often. And so if you're finding your dog's going through a bit of a barky period, then you know why. Now, that's not all, there's more. And the next area that pays into the bucket is digestive tract health, gastro health, gut health, however you want to call it, right? And that's whether you're thinking about just the general wellness of the gut and the digestive system, or whether you're thinking actually about, you might have heard of the gut microbiome, that community of bacteria that live within your dog's gut, yeah? And if they're not feeling too happy, then chances are they'll impact your dog and make them not feel too happy either. So the gut is the next area that is going to be impacted. Now, final area that I'm going to talk about in this episode, we'll talk about more in the future for sure, is your dog's teeth, okay? So if you've got a dog and you've maybe noticed that they've got bad breath or they've got a lot of like plaque and discoloration on their teeth, that has been shown to impact their overall wellness. And in turn, that is filling the bucket as well. So these things, they're not things to be ignored. Now, it's at this point that you're thinking, oh my word, there are at least 2 of those things that are filling my dog's bucket every day. What do I do about it? Do I need to take them to the vet? What needs to happen? Well, the key here is, guys, that actually there's stuff that you can also do at home as well as working as a team with the professionals in your dog owning life. And that's through 2 steps. The first is from the outside in. And what we mean by that is, well, we know that positive and negative stress fills our dog's bucket and impacts their barking, their reactivity, how they perceive the world, right? Those things are reasonably in our control. Because firstly, we can not do exciting things with them when they've got a full bucket. But also, we can not put them in situations that they might be worried about. Thirdly, we can actually teach them that the world is cool. We can teach them that the dog over there is cool. There's a game for that, right? Check out the other episodes in the YouTube channel to discover the games that will reshape your dog's brain. The second strategy that we've got is actually from the inside out. And what we mean by that is not, you can't play inside out games. Instead, we've got to move to the world of nutrition and supporting our dogs. And the fact is that there are foods and ingredients, and you could call them superfoods, that impact your dog's wellness, whether it be joint wellness, right? Whether it be skin wellness that's going to impact that itchiness, whether it be gut wellness that's going to impact, how much the gut pays into this bucket, whether it be dental wellness and what their teeth are looking like and how sweet their breath smells, right? There are things that we can do from the inside out that we can add to their diets. Now, that in itself would be, a few days worth of video of talking through all the different ingredients. But I'll give you an example just to see kind of how powerful this is and also how much we can learn about this. Kelp. Let's take kelp as an example. Kelp, full of antioxidants. Secondly, contains a bacteria that when it hits your dog's saliva, produces an enzyme that breaks down plaque on your dog's teeth. Now, first of all, did you know that? Because until a few years ago when I started to really dive into this, I didn't know that. And secondly, you're probably asking yourself the question, why don't we know this? Well, you know what? We're going to learn about it. And the way that you can do that is by heading to a-ok9.com/quiz. Because as soon as you realize what you can do with your dog, as soon as you realize that there are all these ways that you can support your dog, right? As soon as you realize that there are things that you could be adding to your dog's diet right now that are going to impact them and support their natural processes, you're probably going to be asking next, well, what should I be adding? I want to support my dog in this way. I want to support my dog in this way. What is it that I should add to their diet right now? Well, that's why we made the quiz. That's why we made this formulator that will ask you a few simple questions. You'll learn about the ingredients and we'll tell you about the ingredients that will really focus on the areas that you want to support your dog right now and that you can be adding to their diet today. So with that, we've covered a lot. There's so much that we can control in this picture, and yet we felt disempowered in the past in relation to our dog's behaviour and their wellness. Head to a-ok9.com/quiz and discover, your personalised recommendations for your dog and learn about the various ingredients. That was this episode, and remember, guys, that the key here is control the controllable. Remember, game changers, whatever the dog owning struggle, there's a game for that.
If you haven't already, remember to subscribe to our channel.
And check out our new 25-day online dog training challenge. Watch the videos, play the games, transform your dog owning struggles.
As a loyal YouTube subscriber, you can get a 70% discount through the link in the description below.
And if you haven't already, subscribe to the #1 most transformational dog training podcast on iTunes and Spotify, the Sexier Than a Squirrel podcast.
And remember to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more live teaching, video content and free training using the links in the description.